FCBGA. Socket M. August 2006 Core Duo T20501.6 GHz 2 MB533 mount /S120.7621.3 V31W Socket M May 2006 $140 Core Duo T22501.73 GHz 2 MB533 mount /S130.7621.3 V31W Socket M May 2006 OEM Core Duo T23001.67 GHz 2 MB667 mount /S100.7621.3 V31W Socket M. January 2006 $241. Socket M. Socket 479 /FCBGA. Socket 479 /FCBGA. Core Duo T2300E1.67 GHz 2 MB667 mount /S100.7621.3 V31W Socket M. Socket M. FCBGA 479. FCBGA 479. May 2006 $209 Core Duo T2350.1.87 GHz 2 MB533 mount /S140.7621.3 V31W Socket MOEM Core Duo T2400.1.83 GHz 2 MB667 mount /S110.7621.3 V31W 31W 27W 27W Socket M. Socket M. Socket 479 /FCBGA. Socket 479 /FCBGA. January 2006 $294 Core Duo T24502 GHz 2 MB533 mount /S150.7621.3 V31W Socket MOEM Core Duo T2500.2 GHz 2 MB667 mount /S12.0.7621.3 V31W Socket M. Socket M. Socket 479 /FCBGA. Socket 479 /FCBGA. January 2006 $423 Core Duo T2600.2.17 GHz 2 MB667 mount /S13.0.7621.3 V31W Socket M. Socket M. Socket 479 /FCBGA. Socket 479 /FCBGA. January 2006 $637 Core Duo T2700.2.33 GHz 2 MB667 mount /S14.0.7621.3 V31W Socket M. Socket 479 /FCBGA. June 2006 $637. Core 2. The successor to Core is the mobile version of the Intel Core 2 line of processors using cores based upon the Intel Core microarchitecture. 23, released on July 27, 2006. The release of the mobile version of Intel Core 2 marks the reunification of Intel's desktop and mobile product lines as Core 2 processors were released for desktops and notebooks, unlike the first Intel Core CPUs that were targeted only for notebooks, although some small form factor and all-in-one desktops, like iMac and the Mac Mini, also used Core processors. Unlike the Intel Core 2 is a 64-bit processor, supporting Intel 64. Another difference between the original Core Duo and the new Core 2 Duo is an increase in the amount of Level 2 cache. The new Core 2 Duo has tripled the amount of onboard cache to 6 MB. Core 2 also introduced a quad-core performance variant to the single and dual-core chips, branded Core 2 Quad, as well as an enthusiast variant, Core 2 Extreme. All three chips are manufactured at a 65 nm lithography, and in 2008, a 45 nm lithography, and support front-side bus speeds ranging from 533 MHz to 1600 MHz. In addition, the 45 nm die shrink of the Core microarchitecture adds SSE 4.1 support to all Core 2 microprocessors manufactured at a 45 nm lithography, therefore increasing the calculation rate of the processors. Core 2 Solo. The Core 2 Solo 24, introduced in September 2007, is the successor to the Core Solo and is available only as an ultra-low power mobile processor with 5.5 watt thermal design power. The original U2XXX series Merom L used a special version of the Merom chip with CPUID number 10661, model 22, stepping a 1. They only had a single core and was also used in some Celeron processors. The later SU3XXX are part of Intel's Culve range of processors in a smaller FCBGA956 package but contain the same Penryn chip as the dual-core variants, with one of the cores disabled during manufacturing. Codename brand name, list, L2 Kakasukt Mobile Core 2 Solo U2XXX1 FGA 5.5 Penryn Core 2 Solo SU3XXX3 MGA 9565.5W. Core 2 Duo. The majority of the desktop and mobile Core 2 processor variants are Core 2 Duo, 25, 26, with two processor cores on a single Merom, Conroe, Allendale, Penryn or Wolfdale chip. These come in a wide range of performance and power consumption, starting with the relatively slow ultra-low power UXXX 10W and low power LXXXX 17W versions, to the more performance-oriented PXXXX 25W and TXXXX 35W mobile versions and the XXX 65W desktop models. The Mobile Core 2 Duo processors with an S prefix in the name are produced in a smaller FCBGA 956 package, which allows building more compact laptops. Inside of a Sony VAIO laptop, VGNC140G, within each line, a higher number usually refers to a better performance, which depends largely on core and front-side bus clock frequency and amount of second-level cache, which are model-specific. Core 2 Duo processors typically use the full L2 cache of 2, 3, 4, or 6 MB available in the specific stepping of the chip, while versions with the amount of cache reduced during manufacturing are sold for the low-end consumer market as Celeron or Pentium dual-core processors. Like those processors, some low-end Core 2 Duo models disable features such as Intel virtualization technology. Codename brand name, list, L2 Kakisuket Mobile Core 2 Duo U7XXX2 MGA 47910W Mobile Core 2 Duo L7XXX4 MB17W Mobile Core 2 Duo T5XXX2 MB Socket M Socket PBGA 47935W Mobile Core 2 Duo T7XXX2 4MB Conroe and Allendale Core 2 Duo E4XXX2 Bulga 77565W Core 2 Duo E6XXX2 Form Penryn Mobile Core 2 Duo SU7XXX3 MGA 95610W Mobile Core 2 Duo SU9XXX Mobile Core 2 Duo SL9XXX6 MB17W Mobile Core 2 Duo SP9XXX25W Mobile Core 2 Duo P7XXX3 MB Socket GA625W Mobile Core 2 Duo P8XXX Mobile Core 2 Duo P9XXX 6MB Mobile Core 2 Duo T6XXX 2MB 35W Mobile Core 2 Duo T8XXX 3MB Mobile Core 2 Duo T9XXX 6MB Mobile Core 2 Duo E8XXX 6MB Socket 35P55 Wolf Data Core 2 Duo E7XXX 3 Mbogger 77565W Core 2 Duo E8XXX 6MB Core 2 Quad Core 2 Quad 27, 28 processors are multi-chip modules consisting of two dies similar to those used in Core 2 Duo, forming a quad-core processor. This allows twice the performance of a dual-core processors at the same clock frequency in ideal conditions. Initially, all Core 2 Quad models were versions of Core 2 Duo desktop processors. Kempsfield derived from Conroe and Yorkfield from Wolfdale, but later Penryn QC was added as a high-end version of the mobile dual-core Penryn. The Xeon 32XX and 33XX processors are mostly identical versions of the desktop Core 2 Quad processors and can be used interchangeably. Codename brand name, list, L2. Kakizoket Kempsfield Core 2 Quad Q6XXX2 Form Bugger 77595 105 Y Orkfield Co 2 Quad Q8XXX2 2MB 6595 W Core 2 Quad Q9XXX2 326 Benrink Mobile Core 2 Quad Q9XXX2 326 MB Socket 45 PW Core 2 Extreme Core 2 Extreme processors, 29, 30, are enthusiast versions of Core 2 Duo and Core 2 Quad processors, usually with a higher clock frequency and an unlocked clock multiplier, which makes them especially attractive for overclocking. This is similar to earlier Pentium processors labeled as Extreme Edition. Core 2 Extreme processors were released at a much higher price than their regular version, often $999 or more. Codename brand name, list, L2 Kakizoket Maror Mobile Core 2 Extreme X7XXX4MB Socket 44P Conroe Core 2 Extreme X6XXX Form Bugger 77575 Kempsfield Co 2 Extreme QX6XXX2 Form Bugger 775130 Penryn Mobile Core 2 Extreme X9XXX6MB Socket 44P Penryn Mobile Core 2 Extreme QX9XXX2 6MB Socket 45P Y Orkfield Co 2 Extreme QX9XXX2 6 Mbogger 775 /LGA 771130 150W. First generation. With the release of the Nehalem microarchitecture in November 2008, 31, Intel introduced a new naming scheme for its core processors. There are three variants: Core i3, Core i5 and Core i7, but the names no longer correspond to specific technical features like the number of cores. Instead, the brand is now divided from low-level, i3, through mid-range, i5, to high-end performance, i7, 32, which correspond to 3, 4 and 5 stars in Intel's Intel processor rating, 33, following on from the entry-level Celeron, 1 star, and Pentium, 2 stars, processors. 34, common features of all Nehalem-based processors include an integrated DDR3 memory controller as well as Quick Path Interconnect or PCI Express and direct media interface on the processor, replacing the aging quad-pumped front-side bus used in all earlier core processors. All these processors have 256 kilobytes L2 cache per core, plus up to 12 megabytes shared L3 cache. Because of the new I/O interconnect, Chipsets and mainboards from previous generations can no longer be used with Nehalem-based processors. Intel intended the Core i3 as the new low end of the performance processor line, following the retirement of the Core 2 brand. 35, 36. The first Core i3 processors were launched on January 7, 2010. 37. The first Nehalem-based Core i3 was Clarkdale-based, with an integrated GPU and 2 cores. 38. The same processor is also available as Core i5 and Pentium, with slightly different configurations. The Core i3-3XXM processors are based on Arundel, the mobile version of the Clarkdale desktop processor. They are similar to the Core i5-4XX series but running at lower clock speeds and without turbo boost. 39. According to an Intel FXHey do not support error correction code, ECC, memory. 40. According to motherboard manufacturer Supermicro, if a Core i3 processor is used with a server chipset platform such as Intel 3400/3420/3450, the CPU supports ECC with UDIM. 41. When asked, Intel confirmed that, although the Intel 5 series chipset supports non-ECC memory only with the Core i5 or i3 processors, using those processors on a motherboard with 3400 series chipsets it supports the ECC function of ECC memory. 42. A limited number of motherboards by other companies also support ECC with Intel Core 9 processors. The Asus P8BWS is an example. But it does not support ECC memory under Windows non-server operating systems. 43. Linfield was the first Core i5 processors using the Nehalem microarchitecture, introduced on the 8th of September, 2009, as a mainstream variant of the earlier Core i7. 44. 45. Linfield Core i5 processors have an 8MB L3 cache, HDMI bus running at 2.5 GT/s and support for dual-channel DDR3-800/1066/1333 memory and DAV hyperthreading disabled. The same processors with different sets of features, hyperthreading and other clock frequencies, enabled are sold as Core i7-8X and Xeon 3400 series processors, which should not be confused with high-end Core i7-9XX and Xeon 3500 series processors based on Bloomfield. A new feature called Turbo Boost technology was introduced which maximizes speed for demanding applications, dynamically accelerating performance to match the workload. After Nehalem received a 32nm Westmere die shrink, Arundel, the dual-core mobile Core i5 processors and its desktop counterpart Clarkdale was introduced in January 2010, together with Core i7-6XX and Core i3-3XX processors based on the same architecture. Arundel processors have integrated graphics capability. Core i3-3XX does not support for turbo boost. L3 cache in Core i5-5XX processors is reduced to 3MB, while the Core i5-6XX uses the full cache. 46. Clarkdale is sold as Core i5-6XX, along with related Core i3 and Pentium processors. It has hyperthreading enabled and the full 4MB L3 cache. 47. According to Intel Core i5 desktop processors and desktop boards typically do not support ECC memory. 48. But information on limited ECC support in the Core i3 section also applies to Core i5 and i7. Intel Core i7 as a brand name applies to several families of desktop and laptop 64-bit x86-64 processors using the Nehalem, Westmere, Sunday Bridge, Ivy Bridge Haswell, Broadwell, Skylake, and Kaby Lake microarchitectures. The Core i7 brand targets the business and high-end consumer markets for both desktop and laptop computers, 49, and is distinguished from the Core i3, entry-level consumer, Core i5, mainstream consumer, and Xeon, server and workstation, brands. Introduced in late 2008, Bloomfield was the first Core i7 processors based on the